Aw, yeah! What's up, guys? Sean here, and look what we have here today. The new Benchmade 765. Definitely cause for rejoice right here. This right here is probably the most premium Benchmade folding knife that they currently make. Awesome blade. 300 bones right there. It's definitely trying to compete with, yep, you guessed it, the Sebenza by Chris Reeve. Almost the same size as a small Sebenza. I believe it's just a tiny bit bigger. Small Sebenza being the width of my fingers right here. And you can see this knife would be a lot bigger. I don't have a Sebenza. This seemed to be more of a better value than a Sebenza. Come join me as we break this knife down in excruciating detail. So what do we have here? 765. We've got a decent sized blade there. I believe it's just about 3 inches, which is just perfect. And titanium handle scales on there with a titanium machine clip. Frame lock design, and it's on a roller bearing system. It's very, very fast deployment. You got a strong dent on there, which really just allows you to build up pressure on your thumb, and then it just flies out. So, and the blade steel, of course, is going to be the M390. Let's just go ahead and show you guys some of the factory sharpness. Now, I've actually been using this knife, so it's definitely not as sharp as it was from the factory, but I've been very impressed with how sharp this knife was from the factory. Let's see how it held up. We can see there, it's definitely held up good. Listen to the quietness of that right there. That's sweet. See if we can definitely do an S cut there. Good stuff. Yeah, and that's even without a stropping. Now then, how does it hold up to a Sebenza? I feel like it's definitely a better value than a Sebenza. You're getting a better steel, and it's on KVT ball bearings, so the action is definitely much more crisp and smooth than on a Sebenza. I've handled a few Sebenzas at a store, and the thing about a Sebenza is it's very slow deploying, it's very stiff, it breaks in, but the tolerances on a Sebenza, I feel like, are much tighter than on this Benchmade. Benchmade comes very, very close with this knife, but there's definitely a few things on this blade that could totally use some more attention before they're ready to really compete with a Sebenza. The thing about a Sebenza, though, is, of course, the Sebenza is about a $500, $400 knife. This is coming in at about $300. So, one thing over Sebenza also, we have this machined titanium pocket clip. This finish is super sexy. In the hand, it just feels super tactile, feels really good. As well as, I love the neutral grip on this knife. I can get it in any position, and it's going to be incredibly comfortable. This might be my my best EDC knife, to be honest with you guys. It's not without fault, though, and we're going to get into that in a bit. The blade right here is a very attractive saber grind with a nice, almost Puko-ish swedge on the top there in 390. It looks like just a satin finish, no stonewash on there. Now this area right here does look kind of ugly. I'm not a big fan of it, but to be honest with you, at least they have a functional sharpening choil on here. You can see, if that'll focus in here, this is where the plunge starts, and then the choil right there allows you to sharpen all the way to the heel. Now without a choil right there, if they just let this edge go all the way to here, with the edge at the heel thickening right there, it would just be a complete pain to sharpen. What I would have liked to see, though, is them to just take the choil right here and then just flatten it all the way back. Or in fact, not even have the choil here, just let this be the choil and then bring the edge all the way back. I think that would be much more attractive. But at least the sharpening choil is functional. It's same thickness from here all the way down, preventing you from running into this horrible thickened choil area when you're trying to sharpen. One more thing that I've noticed about this blade is that the action just isn't as smooth as some other knives. Probably the best folding knife action on the market in a production knife right now, you guessed it, it's going to be the ZT450. Just glassy smooth. Once you get past the dent, I mean, the thing is just bomb proof. Look at that, just, oh, perfect. So this just doesn't quite compare, and it is on bearings, and it's still just not very smooth. I'm not sure if it's because it's stiff. I'm not sure if it's because I need to take it apart and maybe clean it. But even something like your paramilitary 2, that's just on these giant phosphor bronze washers, is just going to be incredibly much smoother than this knife even. You can see that, the action. Even on 940-1, your action again is just going to be much more smooth, and that's also on phosphor bronze. And yeah, these blades are tightened all the way down. The centering is good. Oh, speaking of centering, let's go ahead and show you guys that. That's right, guys. The centering is a little bit off on there. It's going a little bit this way. I'm not sure if I'm really disappointed by that, but I do have to kind of show you guys objectively what's going on here. $300 for a knife that's competing with a Sebenza, and it looks like some of the fit and finish features, or the fitting features, are just a little off. We got the centering a little bit off right there. Also, yeah, look at that pocket clip. Did you notice that? So the pocket clip was touching at first, but from putting it in my pants, it looks like it's stretched out the pocket clip. But this pocket clip is incredibly tight. In fact, it's almost too tight. The reason why I'm not going to bend that back is because now it actually fits in my pants perfectly. But that's just something to look out for on this knife when you're purchasing it. Another thing we could talk about, the lockup, very crisp. And it's on this shelf, actually. So there's a little shelf area right there that prevents that from locking all the way over. And that's actually good. If you're using your ZT450 for hard use, what happens is when you cut stuff, it just locks all the way over. Okay? There's also no steel insert inside here. It's titanium on steel. The lock face is a little sticky, but again, I don't mind that. You also got to be careful that you don't launch this thing down on your thumb area. Maybe that's why it's better that it's a little rough. We'll see how that breaks in another video. You have this hexagonal pivot stop right here, and that allows you to adjust your lockup on this knife. I'm thinking that's kind of less of a feature and more of something that the manufacturer uses so that they can get the lockup they want versus you customizing the lockup you would want. It allows them to ship the knife out with this kind of lockup where it meets that shelf. You can see there, it looks like they put a little divot on there so that they remember that this is where the lockup is. There's a slight gap right there. It's kind of blurry. So, yeah, few areas on the fit and finish here. There's also no lock bar stabilizer. This pocket clip is actually acting as a lock bar stabilizer. But with the pocket clip being bent out like that, you're not going to have that as your... So I can definitely over travel the lock bar, especially with it kind of sticking. So that's kind of something to look out for. So I know Benchmade's warranty is totally bomb proof, and this steel is awesome, and how it feels in my hand is freaking rad. It's definitely about the same size as something like a, almost like a Delica as far as size dimensions on there. Here's a size comparison with a Benchmade 940-1, and here's with a paramilitary 2, and then here's with the ZT450. So cool stuff right here. Oh, also, let's just throw in for kicks the Spyderco ZDP 189. So here it is. My stainless steel collection is complete. Yes, these are the highest end, most wear-resistant stainless steels in the world. Right here. S110V, S90V, M390, ZDP 189. And we'll close this video. I'll show you guys in order how it works. S110V is the king in wear resistance, followed by S90V, then M390, and then ZDP 189. Cool stuff, guys. We'll have to shoot another video and talk more about it in depth, but there you have it. The Benchmade 765. freaking sweet knife. Even with its drawbacks to this blade, it's still a very attractive design. And in fact, if I was forced to only keep one knife out of all these, I believe this would be the one right here. So let's leave with some cutting. Woo! So sharp. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care.